Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Mama June, Road to Redemption, has been on. This is the third episode that just aired Friday. I did watch it. I should be back on Sherelle's World tomorrow to give you guys a breakdown of that episode, me and Sherelle and Perry. But what I wanted to do right now is Pumpkin spoke out to InTouch. She done an interview with them. It went up on their website on the 2nd. I'll link it in the description box below. But I wanted to come on here and break it down for you guys. One of the things that I thought was interesting was that they asked Pumpkin if she is talking to Mama June. Now, if you're watching this season, they ended the third episode off with a meetup. They had planned to meet up through Dr. Ish, and Mama June and Gino got to the place where they were going to meet up. Gino spoke to Dr. Ish. Gino leaves out because the producer comes in to say, Alana and Pumpkin, they're 5 minutes out. So Gino, he skedaddles, and it ends right as Pumpkin and Alana are about to meet up with Mama June for the first time in like a year, okay? So in this interview that she done with InTouch, they asked her, are you speaking to your mom? And she said no. So it's really interesting because I'm just wondering, now over the past few months, I've been keeping up with the situation, and Dr. Ish has done interviews where he has talked about how he was working with the family to reconnect again, to rebuild that relationship. And he was saying that they had set up this system to where Mama June will say, okay, I'm going to call you guys on this date at that time, just to see if she would stick to it. And if she was to call, they were to answer, talk to her, you know, give the opportunity for her to make that promise and keep that promise, to see if she was going to be reliable, to see if she could gain that trust back. So I think it's interesting now, Pumpkin just done this interview this week last week with InTouch, and it's just going up on their website. I think it's interesting to find out that she's saying that they're not speaking to Mama June. So what happened? Did Mama June not take the steps she needed to take to rebuild that trust? What caused Pumpkin to quit speaking to Mama June? What's going on? So one of the questions they also asked is, do you think Mama June is sober? And she said that she doesn't know. She cannot say for sure because Mama June lives in Florida. They live in Georgia. There's a time difference. And of course, now that she's not speaking to Mama June, there will really be no way to tell other than if she just keeps her eye out on Mama June's social media. But even through that, if Mama June wanted to fool us, she could. I know that Mama June recently, said that she had celebrated her 1 year of being sober, and that's awesome. I think that's great, and I hope that is the case. I would be let down to find out that Mama June and Gino did relapse. Sometimes that happens in recovery. I don't think it's necessarily a part of recovery, but for some people's situation, it happens. But I would definitely be, it would hurt my feelings to find out that did happen. I hope that's not the case. But I do have to say, just from keeping up with Mama June and Gino on their social media accounts, you really can't tell. They could fool us if they wanted to. I mean, Mama June fooled me for a while on the show. I always kind of thought maybe Gino, but I never, it took me a while before I started suspecting that Mama June was doing drugs as well. So she says, I don't speak to Mama June. We live so far away, there's no way for me to tell. Because I don't speak to her, because we live far away, I don't know what's going on in her life. They also asked her about Gino. How do you feel about Gino? And she said, I have been pretty honest on the show on how I feel about Gino, and she just don't really care for him. She said the reason why is because her mom already, suffers from the addiction to drugs, and she feels like her mom has an addiction to Gino. She said growing up their whole life, it was always the three of them, and her mama always said that it would always be, her and the girls. It would be her and her daughters. And she said, so Gino coming in and taking Mama June from them has been a situation. It's been a problem. It's been hard for them to deal with as well, because Mama June did not keep that promise that it would always be them. She left them for the drugs, for Gino, and she's still with Gino and not, I guess, being what, Pumpkin wanted her to be, or the type of mom Pumpkin wanted her to be. They asked what's it been like raising Alana and Ella, and she said that it is a big difference, that they got Alana not long after they got married, that her and Josh dated for a while, and then not long after they got married was when Mama June really went off the deep end, and they had to bring Alana in with them. So she said they never really got to enjoy that honeymoon phase of their marriage, but she talked about the difference of raising two kids with such a big age gap. She said for Ella, they could go to the store and she could buy Ella, a little Barbie doll, and Ella's happy. But for Honey Boo Boo, it's a $200 pair of shoes that she may need to buy. I do have to say, my kids don't wear $200 pairs of shoes. They can settle for a $60, $70 pair of shoes. But it's just that difference, you know, for one kid, for your 3-year-old, it's a big difference in, you know, your smaller kids, you can buy them cheaper clothes. You know they're going to ruin them. Don't waste your money. But as your kids get older, you do tend to spend more money on them. So I get what she's saying there. She also talks about the journey that she's been on with her weight loss and how for her, she was doing a lot of stress eating after the situation took off with Mama June. When they took Alana in and everything was really coming to a head, she said she was doing a lot of stress eating, so she ended up gaining a lot of weight. But since then, she's begun to eat healthy. She said if there's any festivals outside or anything going on at the park, they'll tend to go just so her and Ella can walk around and get a little bit of exercise in. She says she really don't drink sodas anymore. It's mainly just water. And that Alana is on this health journey a little bit with her. She says if she makes something healthy for dinner, Alana doesn't question it. She will eat it. Sometimes if it's not that good, if it's just, you know, healthy food, Alana will still eat it. So I thought that it was interesting. Also, she does talk about her and Josh's situation. If you caught the first episode of this season, her and Josh really seemed to be bickering. I think that a lot of it was kind of put on. I think a lot of it was staged. I'm not saying they aren't having their problems. I'm sure they probably were. But I think the whole sleeping outside situation, I don't know. I don't know if I believe that. We did see Josh go to his friend, and he told his friend, you know, that divorce is not on the table, but things were stressful, that they were having a hard time communicating and continuing to have a bond with each other because he was working off, and then everything with Mama June. And his friend basically, you know, like talked to him a little bit and gave him a little bit of counseling. And Josh even, you know, joked with him saying, where'd you get all this from? And he goes, you know, I've been going to counseling for 2 years. And Josh was like, dang, really? And he was like, yep, it works. So Josh said that there would not be a divorce, that he is devoted to giving Alana and Ella some stability, 2 parents that are together. So he was going to work on this. Him and Pumpkin will work on it. But Pumpkin says that a lot of the problems absolutely do stem from Mama June, from them having to uproot their family to move to a different town and make things financially harder on them just because of the situation going on with Mama June. She says that's been a struggle for them. Also, if you watch the show, you know that Josh, he's not very supportive of Mama June coming back into their lives. We saw on this previous episode where when Mama June reached out to Dr. Ish and Dr. Ish reached out to Pumpkin and they made that agreement for a meeting, Josh was like, Alana's not coming. She doesn't need to go. What if Mama June's not sober? You know, it'll be disappointment. Don't even bring Alana. They ended up talking him into it, but he was not happy about it. So you can see that Josh, he's like the main one that doesn't really want to give Mama June a chance, especially when it comes to Alana, because he does not want to see her hurt or disappointed again. And Pumpkin says that's played a huge role in them having some issues, obviously. So I thought that was interesting, to say the least, to find out that when asked, are you in communication with Mama June? Are you talking to Mama June? She said no. No. Also, do you believe she's sober? She doesn't know. She says there's just no way for her to be sure of that. Because like I said, I've been keeping up with this family. Even when they're not, their show is not on air, I keep up with them. And I knew that Dr. Ish was working with the family to try to help them rebuild and reconnect. And there was a system where Mama June was supposed to be trying to rebuild that trust by setting up calls. So to hear that they're not even in communication, it just makes me wonder what happened. Like, did Mama June not hold up her end of the bargain and keep calling? Did she call and something happened? What happened? I don't know. You guys leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Are you guys shocked to hear that Pumpkin is saying that she is not in communication with Mama June anymore after knowing that they did have that sit-down meet that's coming up? Also, after finding out that, you know, they had the system in place with Dr. Ish. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. If you are not subscribed to the channel yet and you like this type of content, please make sure you do that right now. I'm trying to hit 30,000 subs in, like, I think it's like 12 more days I have left. So if you're not subscribed, please do that now. I would greatly appreciate it. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye, everyone.